My brother was allergic to walnuts, and my mother insisted on feeding them to him anyway. That obsession destroyed our family, and in my first life, it got me killed. When I opened my eyes again, I was standing in the kitchen, staring at a familiar cup of pale brown walnut milk in my mother's hand. "You were allergic when you were little too," she said sharply. "And I raised you just fine, didn't I? You're alive, aren't you?" Across the table sat my little brother. He was 3 years old, his face soft and innocent, his legs dangling off the chair. He looked at me and smiled, not knowing that one day he would be the one to kill me. My fork slipped from my hand and clattered against the table. "I ate walnuts every day when I was pregnant with you," my mother continued, her voice rising. "And he turned out perfectly fine. Walnuts are good for the brain. Do you know how expensive they are? Over $20 a pound." That sentence had been the start of everything in my last life. I had been reborn. Before I could fully steady myself, she went on, anger creeping into her tone. "You talk about allergies like there's some kind of curse. Like I'd hurt my own son. You were allergic, and I raised you the same way. You grew up fine. I don't see you dead." I opened my mouth, then closed it again. I had been allergic since I was a child. My mother had always been forceful. She believed allergies could be trained away. She called it desensitization. I called it torture. My skin used to swell and turn red. Other kids teased me. Over the years, my health slowly worsened from repeated reactions. When I found out my brother was allergic too, I couldn't let him live the same life. Knowing my mother, I moved back home on purpose, watching him constantly, afraid she'd secretly mix walnut powder or walnut milk into his food. For his sake, I argued with her until our faces were red, until we were screaming at each other, until we were almost physical. My brother grew up healthy but spoiled. He was greedy by nature, and my mother indulged him in everything except discipline. His grades were poor. Whenever my mother scolded or hit him, she would turn around and cook walnut dishes for me, sighing loudly where he could hear. "Do you know why you're not as smart as your sister?" she'd say. "Children who eat walnuts are clever. Your sister was afraid you'd surpass her, so she stopped me from feeding you. Don't blame me. I can't afford to upset her. Last time I let you have some, she chased me and yelled like a madwoman. You heard it yourself." Then she'd stroke his head and whisper, "My poor son. You'll be stepped on your whole life." Over and over, she poisoned his mind. "Only your mother truly loves you," she told him. "I would never hurt you. You're close to your sister, but who knows what she's really thinking. Some people can't stand seeing others do well." Bit by bit, his trust in me disappeared. In the end, he fed me my allergen on purpose. There was no one to save me. My throat swelled shut. I couldn't breathe. As I lay dying, my mother unlocked the door and looked down at me with a smile. "Just a girl," she said calmly. "When your father was alive, you competed with me for his attention. Now I finally have a son, and you still want to fight me. Better that you're dead." That was when I understood the truth. To her, I had never been a daughter. I was an enemy. Back in the present, I forced myself to breathe slowly. I interrupted her rant and lowered my eyes, wearing the obedient expression I used to hate. "You're right," I said softly. "You have experience raising children. I'll listen to you." My mother froze for a second. Then she beamed. She picked up the cup and held it to my brother's mouth. "That's right. Eat more walnuts. They make you smart. Come on, sweetheart." My brother was still young enough to eat anything put in front of him. He opened his mouth obediently, then pointed at me. "Sister." I stared at his face. In my last life, those same eyes had looked at me with pure hatred. Just a month earlier, my mother had been eating walnuts and casually fed him a few. After that, he slept for an entire day. She even praised him for being so well behaved. I was the one who realized something was wrong. He had a high fever and wouldn't wake up. I carried him to the emergency room in the middle of the night. The doctor gave him an allergy shot and ran tests. The bill came to over $3,000. The doctor warned us repeatedly to stay away from walnuts. On the way home, my mother muttered, "Such a small thing. What a waste of money. It's not like it could kill him." I paid every cent. After that, she secretly started her training, mixing walnut products into his food again. Now, sitting at the table, I caught a glimpse of her face from the corner of my eye. Her brow was furrowed. The look she gave me was sharp, hostile. In my first life, I hadn't noticed it. No wonder I died so young. My phone rang. I grabbed my backpack without hesitation. "Mom, I have to go. I'm going on a business trip. I won't interfere with my brother anymore." The moment I stepped outside and closed the door, I let out a long breath. It felt like escaping death. The business trip was real. A month-long inspection. In my last life, my supervisor had begged me to go. But I'd refused, afraid to leave my brother alone. I'd missed out on a huge promotion. This time, I called him back immediately and told him I could leave right away. It wasn't for the promotion. It was to get away. I remembered what had happened last time. To spite me, my mother had fed my brother a large amount of fresh walnuts, causing him to go into anaphylactic shock. He'd been hospitalized for a long time and nearly died. This time, I didn't stop her. If she followed her old routine small amounts, slowly it shouldn't kill him. Maybe this time, fate would change. At the inspection site, I worked non-stop. I missed several calls from my mother. Nothing good ever came from her calling. I almost ignored the last one, but after 2 days of exhaustion, I answered without thinking. The moment the call connected, she exploded. "Why aren't you answering your phone? Do you know how worried I've been? You're useless when it matters." "I'm working," I said calmly. I didn't see my phone. "Working? That worthless job. People would think you're dead out there." She didn't stop to breathe. "Come back right now." I set the phone down and went to wash my face. When I came back, she was still screaming my name. "Amelia. Do you have wax in your ears? Send $20,000 right now. Your brother needs hospital fees." "I don't have money," I said. She went silent for a split second. Then I heard my brother crying weakly. "Amelia, please save me." My mother hissed near the phone, Tell her. Tell her to send the money." He cried harder. "Mom, don't pinch me, it hurts." "Amelia, please. Mom says if there's no money, the doctor won't treat me." "You have money. Send it." I could picture it perfectly. Just like my last life. She used him to bleed me dry. Every time he was hospitalized, she threatened to stop treatment unless I paid. I believed he was on my side. He wasn't. They were working together. I sighed. "Let Mom talk." My mother sounded smug. "Use whatever app you want. Hurry. The hospital is waiting." My voice was flat. "Mom, it's just an allergy. It's not like he's dying. No need to stay in the hospital. Doctors just want money. When I had allergies, I stayed home and got better." He's still crying loudly. "Let him drink more water. It'll flush out." Those were her exact words from the past. I hung up and slept peacefully for the first time in years. When I woke up the next morning, my mother had posted 3 updates in a row on social media. The first was a photo of my brother lying in a hospital bed, his face swollen so badly it barely looked human. The second was a screenshot showing dozens of missed calls to my phone. The third was a long message posted in the family group chat. I had already left that group after my father died and deleted most relatives, but my mother clearly thought that wasn't enough. She wanted everyone to see it. She never mentioned that my brother's condition was her fault. Instead, she accused me of being cold-hearted, saying I had abandoned my brother while he lay hospitalized. For an entire week, she posted 3 times a day. Every photo showed him looking worse, swollen, covered in rashes, miserable. I just smiled. She had a short memory. She had taken him to the nearest hospital, same one, where I had rushed him for allergy testing before. Because she'd complained so loudly back then that allergies weren't deadly, and that doctors only wanted money, the doctor had added my contact information. That night, when she blocked me, the doctor argued with her for a long time. In the end, she still took my brother home while his face was swollen. No one could stop her. She was his mother. A mother wouldn't hurt her own child. That was what everyone believed. She didn't think I'd really ignore them. She assumed I was just angry. To force contact, she bought my brother a kid's phone watch and had him call me over and over, asking me to come home. I was working non-stop in another city. She had no job. My brother wasn't in school yet. The two of them harassed me day and night. It only strengthened my resolve. When the business trip ended, I didn't contact her. I went straight back to my small apartment. Having a place of my own, quiet, peaceful, free of arguments, felt unreal. Even though I cut contact, news still reached me. My mother never stopped her so-called training. Every now and then, she posted photos, my brother's swollen face, his neck clawed raw from itching, his arms covered in bumps. I knew those photos were meant for me. I never responded. Even when she cried to relatives and begged them to pressure me, I said coldly that I had cut ties with the family. A year later, I got a call from my brother's kindergarten teacher. Her voice was tense. "Hello, is this Oliver's sister? We couldn't reach his mother. Could you come to the hospital?" Oliver was involved in a serious fight. The other parents are considering calling the police. I almost refused. Then I checked the time. School usually ended at 4. It was already past 7. She must have tried everything before calling me. When I arrived at the hospital, my brother looked even worse than before. His face was swollen, his arms and legs covered in scratch marks from allergies. His head was down, fists clenched. Tears dropped silently onto the floor. Children who look different are easy targets. The young teacher sighed in relief when she saw me. "Thank you for coming." Oliver pushed another child down a staircase over 10 steps. The boy hit his head badly. My brother suddenly screamed, voice hoarse and broken. "They started it. They called me a freak. A pighead. They deserved it." The teacher looked uncomfortable. "He refuses to apologize. The other parents want to talk. Their child is still being treated. This isn't the first time. It happens almost every week. The doctor says it's allergies, but he really needs a full medical and psychological evaluation." She didn't know the truth. I pulled my brother up, apologized to the parents, promised compensation, and took him home. The apartment was dark. My mother wasn't there. Her phone went unanswered. My brother threw his backpack on the floor. "Why didn't you make Mom pay?" "Let them ask her." "Because she's your mother," I said quietly. "And I'm not. If I'd been able to reach her, I wouldn't have stayed." But my brother was crying so loudly I was afraid neighbors would call the police. I turned to leave. He screamed behind me, "You're my sister. You're supposed to pay for me. That's what Mom said. Why else would I call you? You're useless." That was when I understood. This whole thing had been planned. I ordered him fast food and sat across from him. "What else did Mom tell you?" He was still young. He didn't know how to lie well. "She said she had to make you spend money. Even if you run away, you have to leave money behind. Otherwise she raised you for nothing. If you don't give it, she'll ruin you." Those were my mother's words. Exactly. She didn't come back that night. That suited me. The next day, I sent my brother to kindergarten and hired someone to install a hidden camera in the living room, high on a dusty bookshelf. I couldn't rely on my brother to keep secrets. The two of them were truly alike. That evening, the teacher called again. I apologized politely. "I'm working overtime. I'm not his guardian. Please tell his mother everything is settled and ask her to come back." The teacher hesitated. "But we're off work. I've stayed late for 2 days. I really can't reach her." "I can't either," I said calmly. "Please call the police." I changed my SIM card the next day. I refused to become his second mother. Through the camera, I saw my mother return home in the middle of the night, dragging my brother behind her. The moment she entered, she started cursing. "She really doesn't care about you at all. That heartless girl. She tricked me into coming back. Now her phone is off." She was gasping with rage. I already knew the compensation would be at least $30,000. My mother wasn't poor. My father's accident settlement was enough to support her, and my brother comfortably if she didn't keep causing disasters. I was willing to send legal support money. Nothing more. She only remembered me around payday. She started attacking me again in family chats, crying on voice messages, making video calls. Watching the surveillance footage felt like watching a circus. To cut ties completely, I volunteered for overtime and holiday business trips. My boss was thrilled. But my mother didn't stop. She used household records to find my address. She even reported me missing to the police. I knew why. My brother had started elementary school. He was violent, unstable, constantly hurting others. My mother was aging, her health failing. Without me as a target and financial source, the two of them turned on each other. She kept feeding him walnuts, promising he'd become normal and smart. All it gave him was pain. His skin broke down. His immune system weakened. He missed school constantly. Other kids called him a monster. They said his disease was contagious. He begged her to stop. She agreed and Wordsand kept grinding walnuts into his food in secret. He fought back. He screamed. He threw things. He refused school. One day, I heard her pounding on his door through the camera. "Your sister was allergic too, and she's fine. I raised you both the same." He screamed back, "That's why she ran away. I'm going to run too. You're not my Momiaria witch." That was when she became desperate to drag me back. I turned off the camera, packed my suitcase, and left for another city. 3 days later. The police called. My brother had jumped from the elementary school building. Teachers and students saw it. The cameras caught everything. His face was swollen, scratched raw from allergies. The police said it was suicide, but bullying was likely involved. In the background, I could hear my mother screaming my name. That night I went back. As his adult sister, my household registration was still tied to the family. Even though I had cut contact, the police had no choice but to call me. I couldn't escape this. The moment I stepped into the station, my mother saw me. Her crying stopped instantly. She shoved the officer supporting her aside and rushed at me, slapping me hard across the face. "It's all your fault, you curse," she screamed. "My husband died because of you. Now my son is dead because of you. Why didn't you die instead?" She clawed at me, shouting for the police to arrest me as a murderer. They had already checked my records. I hadn't lived at home in years. I had no contact with them. Still, because she was an elderly mother who had just lost her son, the officers only warned her and asked us to speak elsewhere. I looked at her calmly. "Oliver isn't dead," I said quietly. "He's free. He escaped you." When he jumped, he was smiling. She went mad again and lunged at me, but I stepped back. "I'll move my registration out soon. I'll pay your legally required support. If you get sick, I'll arrange a nursing home." Her eyes were bloodshot. "No. You're my child. There are no parents who are wrong. Even if I made mistakes, you should forgive me." I turned and left. That was when my lawyer friend warned me. "She's attacking you online. Cutting ties right now could be risky." He sent me a link. It was her account. Daily videos. Crying. Missed calls. Messages I never answered. Clips of her sick in bed, dialing my number, the automated voice saying the line was out of service. She said she missed her rebellious daughter. Then she began live streaming. She blamed everything on me. Said I was closer to my father. That she had woken at 6 every morning to cook. That she never treated me badly. That when she had my brother, I abandoned the family. She cried on camera. Her father died on his way home because of her. My son was still a baby. She left us. She even abandoned her little brother at kindergarten. She broke into my room and showed my childhood photos, my household records, my ID number. "Amelia, come home." People believed her. A grieving mother. A dead son. A cold daughter. Internet justice descended fast. My information was dug up. Former classmates commented. Strangers cursed me. My boss told me to stay hidden. I started gathering evidence. Photos of my allergic reactions. Old posts. Messages. Recordings. And the surveillance footage. Watching it all together was horrifying. My mother carefully controlled my brother's reaction, show swollen, how itchy, how miserable, never fatal, always enough to punish. Walnuts were never necessary. They were control. Then my aunt came. She was my father's sister. She brought his diary. The truth finally came out. My father didn't die because of me. My mother had forced him out into the rain that night. He was hit by a drunk driver while running an errand for her. All those years of guilt shattered. My aunt agreed to testify. I sued. Defamation. Abuse. Public harassment. The court accepted the case quickly. My mother had no evidence, only tears. When the verdict was read, she screamed, "I gave birth to you. You owe me your life. Allergies aren't real." She was evaluated. She was sane. I posted everything online. The verdict. The evidence. The list of people I was suing for spreading lies. Public opinion flipped. Some apologized. Some deleted accounts. Some ran. I didn't care. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace. I brought flowers to my father's grave. "Dad," I said, "I'm finally free. And this time, I stayed alive."